Hey guys, what's going on? It's Blockbull right about now, bringing you the latest episode to the channel. Now, today we will be taking a look at the markets, but first and foremost, we want to take a look on a geopolitical level, what is going on in the world. Now, for you guys that don't follow geopoliticals or, what's going on in current affairs worldwide, the Hamas supreme leader got assassinated last Wednesday. So the Israelis have taken out the supreme leader of the Hamas. Okay, so Iran here have basically stated that they will retaliate, and they have publicly announced for the first time that they have nuclear capabilities. Okay, now what they've gone and said is they will retaliate and they will strike back at some point today. So at some point today there is going to be literally ballistic missiles going off, and who knows what other sort of firearms and whatever else they are sending into the direction over to Israel. So obviously these proxy wars now are beginning to get out of hand, because Russia, China, North Korea, sort of the BRICS sort of allegiance, are now backing Iran. And they have been doing for a while, but what they're doing is they're now arming them with powerful weapons that could potentially wipe out a whole sort of territory, if you will. And obviously you've got the NATO countries with the US backing Israel, got the rest of the NATO, the UK obviously in support. So it's almost like West versus the sort of East sort of territories. So this is the lead up now to the markets capitulating. So you've got all this. This is a fantastic news channel if you guys want to follow these. It's absolutely brilliant to follow. But we've also got radar hits as well. So radar hits, just in $1 billion leveraged crypto positions have been liquidated in 24 hours. So there's blood in the market, and again in the stock market, big tech stocks down in the pre-market. So this was an update an hour ago. Google down 11, Nvidia 11%, Apple 10%. Now we all know Warren Buffett last week sold 50% of his shares in Apple as well. So the big boys know what's up. They're actually one step ahead of the game, just because they actually have inside information, and this is what makes them fantastic investors, because they know exactly what is going on. They have that information, and this is what separates the best investors from the retail traders, if you will. They get told what's happening basically. Again, we've had Japan's stock market suffers the worst losses since 1987, reports Financial Times. And we've also had some further news as well. Taiwan's stock market has also crashed, the worst day in 57 years. Those are reports coming from Bloomberg. So it is literally all going on now. It looks as if we are going into the phase 2 of World War 3. Obviously phase 1 was the sort of combating over territories, especially with Ukraine, to actually bolster the sort of NATO countries. Okay, so now Ukraine are obviously, I don't know the sort of update with Ukraine. As far as I knew, they was going after NATO registration, so they wanted to become part of NATO. Now obviously, there've been sort of proxy wars there. To hold the sort of Russian borders, if you will, because obviously Russia don't like all the missiles, firearms, and the fact that NATO could ultimately capture Ukraine, which is obviously bordering Russia as well. So Russia see that as a state of emergency, if you will, because they don't want nuclear missiles on their doorsteps. That's exactly what they were trying to do the other way around when Russia was trying to use Cuba as sort of a launch pad. So they had the American sort of territory within range. So it's all going on. It's literally 5D chess at the moment. But Taiwan is a major supply chain to the Western society. So whether or not you live in America, the UK, Europe, they supply all the semiconductors for your mobile cell phones, your computers, any sort of electrical devices. So the fact that Taiwan's stock market is crashing now, we are heading into uncharted territory right now. So it's getting very, very serious. And obviously, Iran are looking to retaliate at some point today. So this will spark off phase 2. There's all sorts going on as well in the UK. Obviously, I've got quite a lot of UK audience. You've seen all the protesting and the riots going on, so that's going to lead to a civil war at some point. So it's literally all going off. Like, the world has literally gone mad. But without further ado, we'll dive into the crypto charts. So to begin with the charts, I'm going to take a look at Bitcoin, because Bitcoin has fallen heavily. You can see over the past 2 weeks we've printed these two red candles. Now for me, we fell out of this sort of arrow highlighted in the white trend lines, and we fell below the 200-day moving average, so it was looking bearish. However, this blue trend line, which has literally been going since inception, has caught us beautifully. You can see here back in November 2011, October 2011, which is when this trend line starts, and we've been grinding up here ever since, I'd say around this sort of mark here. So the beginning of 2023 we've been grinding up, so we've been in a bull market, in my opinion, ever since like the bottom was hit here after the 2021 all-time high for Bitcoin. Obviously we have exceeded that all-time high, and we set a new all-time high around this sort of March time, was it? March of this year. So we exceeded that. We actually breached and got up to near enough $74,000 here, you can see on the chart. But Bitcoin has put the fear of God into everyone. A lot of big investments are in Bitcoin, and it looks like we have finally revisited and touched the trend line as well, which will be the first time we've touched this trend line since October 23. So I do expect Bitcoin to continue up into an upwards trajectory, especially with the spot ETFs and all that sort of hedge fund institutional money coming into the markets now. So these are optimum buy opportunities. I'm telling you guys now. Exactly the same happened before the pandemic took place. Obviously you got this massive sell-off over like 2-3 weeks. Then ever since like the announcement of the lockdowns with the C19, obviously we then went and rallied, and that's when we went into the bull market and created that double peak. So I expect something like this, 2 or 3 weeks of literally fear, and then fear FUD, whatever you want to call it. Then as I expect Bitcoin then to go on an upwards trajectory, and I would be looking at targeting this upper blue trend line just based on history, because anytime we've actually had a bull market, we've either tagged the blue line or we've exceeded it. So for example 2017-18 we actually exceeded it back here where the trend line started. Again we exceeded it in 2021, and then we got the tap as well. So look at, there's a lot of room for growth with Bitcoin, but that's just Bitcoin. Obviously Bitcoin is important because it kind of dictates and kind of leads the market, because you know it does equate to about 50% of the crypto dominance. We can double check the dominance of Bitcoin here. So Bitcoin's dominating the crypto market by 56%. So it makes up more than half of the crypto market. Obviously ETH takes up 15%. But let's just shift myself across there and have a look at some of these 24 hours. Bitcoin is down 15%, Ethereum down 22%. Wow, this is heavy. BNB 18%, Solana 19%, XRP down 17-18%, Dodge 22%, near enough 40% on the week. So that's near enough half of your money gone with whatever you've got invested there. Avalanche, so all the markets are down approximately 30-40% on the week. Now that is the liquidation you need in order to take out leverage positions. So anyone that is using leverage to try and maximize profits and gains are being wiped out. So that to me is a clear indicator that we have a strong possibility of going much higher. So this is what they do before they actually send the market. It's almost like when we talk about XRP, it will be the phoenix that rises out of the ashes. Now I strongly believe that, guys. So let's get back into the charts. Let's flick over to the XRP chart as well. Here we go. We got the XRP Bitcoin chart as well, which we can actually visit shortly. But first and foremost, we're on the log scale here. I'll just flick back over to the linear. Now I can go into the line with markers, and I'm just going to shift myself back over there for the time being. Now I do believe XRP broke out. I reiterate this Around the middle of February we broke out, retested, got the grind, and then we've hit the apex here around June. You could pull it further across to say like the beginning of July. You know, there is a debate there when it broke out, but you can see where the apex is here. Let me just drag this. You can see the apex there. So that's when the two blue trend lines converge, and that's when we get that massive reaction, and we actually penetrate, and we begin trading above the 200-day moving average here. You can see this turquoise line. This is 200-day moving average. We've capitulated. Okay. And this is where we are now. It looks as if XRP loves to retest the base of any movements. For example, you can see this green candle here. When we actually make an impulse, XRP likes to retest the base. So what it'll do is capitulate, and it'll take out exactly where we started from. And that's exactly what it does there. And it does the same here on a smaller scale. You can see we get that impulse to the upside, and then we roll over and retest the base. Impulse, and then we'll look to retest the base. We've not quite hit the base here. So this is what XRP does, and this is the behavior of XRP. So anytime we get an impulse, expect us to retrace. That's pretty much the nature and the behavior of this cryptocurrency. But for me, we are pretty much there now. I have got, this is still going strong in my opinion, this XRP blueprint, and I will be looking at updating this. I'm very busy this week, but if I get the opportunity to do so, I will be doing a new video on the XRP blueprint, and this is pretty bog standard. So if you guys haven't come across this blueprint, I would urge you to take a look at the pin tweet over on X. Okay, so this also stipulates here there's 3 key dates, and this is all being measured from the Bitcoin halving. So you've got the first halving, well, not the first halving, but the 16 halving here in July, and then you've got the 2020 halving back in May, and then you've had the most recent halving back in April of this year. Okay, so 36 weeks after that Bitcoin halving, XRP breaks out, and this is when we rally up. So it's not really till the end of the year. I think it's 26th of December will be the sort of official breakout that week commencing. So anywhere from like the 26th of December over that week going into January, that is when we expect this sort of massive rally for XRP, and I believe we can get up to 3 digits. I feel as though we are guaranteed $27, $28 as well, so I would be considering taking a hefty profit around $27, $28. But XRP is still looking really good. Now, just showing you the charts, and like I say, what I can do is extend this bottom trend line. Now I'm trying to just grab hold of this because it's very, very fiddly. You can see where XRP is trying to come down and retest. So this is now extended market structure. So this bottom trend line here that has been acting as support, that's kind of converged and created that apex. We've got that blast. We're looking to revisit here, which is around that sort of 42, 43 cent, which is pretty much where we are now, guys. We are currently 44, 45 cent. So we're pretty much, for me, the bottom is in. But what I've talked about in other videos is the potential to take out these lows here. So there'll be a lot of liquidity around here. Now, if we do get this sort of World War III sort of phase 2 unfolding when Iran retaliate to the assassination of their supreme leader, well, the Hamas supreme leader, then we would expect XRP to at least liquidate, spike, wick, whatever you want to call it, around this sort of 30 cent mark. Take out these wicks here, take out all this liquidity down here, because there'll be loads of stops. And we've just mentioned leverage positions as well, how 30% is required to take out leverage positions. So nothing is off the cards. We are in uncharted times right now, so any sort of TA, you've got to be willing to and be prepared to handle worst case scenario, because if we are looking at a flip of the switch, we do literally have to have a complete reset where everything just goes to zero. Stock market, gold, commodity, everything just goes boom, explodes. 10 days of darkness. We talked about cyber attacks as well. 10 days of darkness, like that, back online, and everything, you'll see all the digits. Gold's probably worth like 10, 15, 20k an ounce. And then whatever XRP's worth, whether it be 3 digits or what, who knows. but he's just gonna. This honestly, the charts, the markets, the world has gone mad. Now we'll look at XRP, Bitcoin as well. This is looking alright in my opinion. We've got up to that 200-day moving average. Okay, it looks like we're getting a rejection, but that rejection isn't too heavy. That to me, like if that was a strong rejection, we'd be trading back down here around these lows here where we actually broke the red trend line. Now I'll just scroll out for you guys just to sort of give you a better idea of where we are. So again, 1 peak, 2 peak, red, 1 peak, 2 peak, red wedge, and then when you break out here, this is where we are now. You get that massive impulse. So this is what we're waiting for now with XRP. XRP is expected to rally, and this blue horizontal line up here is where I expect XRP to eventually hit. So it's still looking very, very, very good. So you just have to hold, don't panic, don't be like stressing too much, because you know, stressing and worrying, you actually don't achieve anything. You know, it just occupies your mind. So yeah, just go for a walk, take a deep breath. That would be my advice. Let's get over to XDC XRP, and I will get into XDC as well. Now we've looked at this chart now for the past couple of weeks, how this is playing out. Now again, this chart is creating another apex. Now this chart here, let's just have a look. XDC is actually outperformed XRP by 3%, so we are pretty much there, guys. The apex is there. You could arguably go a bit lower, because obviously I'm trying to accommodate for this low down here. Could ultimately drag that out there. Again, ideally I'd want that touching, but you know, you can't catch them all. But somewhere around this sort of region anyway. Going into September, we do expect that massive reaction for XDC to begin outperforming XRP. So I hold XRP, so don't hate me if you're an XRP holder. Just take this as an eye opener, and maybe, not financial advice, maybe grab yourself a bag of XDC, especially these prices now that it's capitulated 15% today. Let's have a look. XDC, where are you when I get to it? Where's XDC? What's going on here then? Alright, I'm going to have to type you in. XDC, where are you? XDC, KuCoin. Let's try this chart here. I've got an old chart here. In fact, I don't like that one. Let's have a look at a different one. Because I don't know where it's gone. So this is on KuCoin Exchange. Now look at all these lines, all the sort of convergence. For me, we reached the apex there at the end of July. Now XDC looks to be breaking down. So again, we're on uncharted territory. So for me, now from a TA perspective, TAs has almost gone out the window. Now the only sort of saving grace I'd be looking at doing is actually cloning this line to accommodate this this sort of price action down here. So what I can do is clone that line just to make sure it's parallel and place it down here. And even still, XDC has breached that parallel channel. So where XDC is going, I have no idea. Now the only thing that I could argue would be XDC would be looking to take out these lows. So this is where liquidity and stop losses are placed in any market. It's just human psychology. So what people tend to do is when they're trading or investing, they'll place a stop loss a tick or two below the swing low. So right here, where my cursor is, this is where a lot of stops and a lot of liquidity would be. Now you can see where XDC is getting into. It's looking to take out that sort of low. This is the low, the lowest it's been on this exchange, but especially post all-time high which was set in 2021. So expect now XDC to take out all lows, all liquidity, so everything is just literally galvanized. So we're pretty much there now of taking out that low. Once that low has been triggered, then obviously XDC will be looking at, you know, running to market. And I'll just showing you the XRP XDC chart as well. And I'll tell you what, we're going to leave it there, guys, now because we're approaching 20 minutes. So yeah, I'll come out with a new video this week, Probably, keep tabs on what unfolds as well. Obviously, we expect that massive retaliation from Iran at some point today, so whether or not that tanks the markets further, who knows. But right now it's just a case of holding your crypto and maximising your bag as much as possible. I know times are hard, but you've just got to keep that faith, continue believing, try not to stress and worry too much. But anyway, guys, I've been the Block Bull, so if you enjoyed the content, please consider liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing. Do what you need to do, guys. I've been the Block Bull. Take it easy. Over and out.